Last night's episode of the Haves and the Have-Nots was literally on fire. I loved it from beginning to end, and the preview for next week has me just excited for more. I mean, for the haters out there who say that the show's moving too slow, the pacing isn't well, they drag things out too much, they waste time on 10 minutes of this, 10 minutes of that. I hope these episodes that came out, last night and next week that's coming out, put those people to shame, put them on mute, because these episodes right here goes back to the mid-season of season 3, or right around the time when Amanda was found dead in her room, where every episode was just fantastic. We've reached that realm of season 4. My only regret is that the season 4 is picking up now. It's picking up good steam. Every episode is fantastic. Before you know it, within a couple weeks, maybe 2, 3, 4 more episodes, then we're going to hit that mid-season finale. Then we're going to have to wait a few weeks, maybe a month and a half, and we're going to close out season 4. But with that being said, last night's episode was great. I mean, it started off on a good note. It closed out the Aaliyah portion of the episode not too long. They did it was about maybe 3-4 minutes of, her being beaten up and then explaining that she got $25,000 from Oscar. And she's going to go to the credit union to get the money to pay Candace back. Now, I have to wonder if she really did get money, $25,000. She said that she spent it all already. I mean, it's only been, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 1 or 2 days since Oscar gave the money to her. Maybe, I would say about 2 days total, because you have the day where Oscar gave the $500,000 to Candace. Then, if I'm not mistaken, he stayed that night, then went to New York, and that's when the money was missing. So, yeah, $25,000 in 2 days. No telling what she did with that. If she really did get the money, I don't know. Maybe she said that just to make sure she didn't get killed. But again, we will find out soon enough. Candace is just rolling the dice here, and she has nothing on the table. She's just pretty much beating up or threatening anybody she suspects was in league with Oscar, which leads to Landon, but I'll get into that later in this video. I was just amazed that, Candace lied to Erica, and I want to post a link to my previous video about Erica being a pawn in Candace's game in the description below. She said that, she owed Warlock $2 million, and then the part that stunned me was that, Erica said that her bastard father and Candace's mom couldn't be right about, the lives that they live. So, just think on that. I bet that it will be way too late for both of them to realize that they were wrong, and that their Hannah and Erica's father were right about the way that they lived their life is the wrong way to live. And Erica went down the list of all the girls who crossed Warlock, and who knows what he did to him, maybe beat him up, or worse, maybe killed him. And what I find funny was that Candace said that Warlock would kill Benny, but he would only kill Benny if Candace tried to run away. If I'm not mistaken, she didn't tell Erica that, hey, I have to come up with this X amount of money, $2 million, which she lied about, in a few days, or I'm dead. She didn't say that. And it's just, wow, she lied to Warlock about only getting $4 million when she really got 7.4. She lies to Erica about owing Warlock $2 million. And now she's trying to get Aaliyah to get her $100,000 and custody of her son in 6 hours, which Aaliyah and Candace don't know, to my knowledge, that little Q is in the hospital, and he's going to be there for about 24 hours, if not more, before Hannah has to go pick him up. Things are definitely going to fall apart, because, again, Candace is just grasping at straws at this point. And, I mean, it's about 4 minutes into this video, and I have a lot more to say on the subject, but let's move on. The scene between Catherine and David was just golden. It's good to see Catherine out of that jail cell, literally back in the fight. I will say that she stands by Jim despite everything. I mean, she is standing by Jim, even though he is, guilty. But anybody who gets in her way, as she told Maggie, there's going to be hell to pay, because that woman is powerful and nobody is helping them. Everybody's turning their back on them. I feel like, we've seen what Jim could do at the end of season 3, just killing off like 3 characters at once. I do not want to even see or even imagine what Catherine Cryer is capable of. And I'm just going to stop right there. Then we get to the hilarious scene, which shows that Jim is in for some mess right now. I mean, so we have the lawyer, Catherine, Jim, and Veronica in one room talking things over, about to go to the bail hearing. Jim's just running his mouth. What I found funny about this scene, because I kept looking at the scene on the TV like, something's off about Jim. Something isn't right. And I look, oh, he got a little gruff, some stubble right there. Tell he been in there for a couple of days. So with him mouthing off to the judge and having a 30 additional days in jail, I mean, I don't know what to expect when he comes out. He's going to be looking like Santa Claus with that beard. But I do remember John Snyder posting a photo sometime last year, I believe, right before season 4 kicked off. A picture of him looking gruff with a black eye. At first, I thought he was in a fight with David during season 4. That's why he got the black eye. But given the fact that he's going to be in jail for 30 more days and he's starting to grow like a beard now, I'm guessing that he gets in some kind of fight with a fellow inmate. So I'm interested to see how that's going to play out. It's kind of like, full circle of karma. He put Wyatt in jail. Then he, covered up a murder. So there's no telling what's going to happen on that one. Now, moving on to Veronica, I mean, impressive representing herself in court. She definitely has some mental issues going on there, but do not underestimate the Ice Queen. And then that wink she gave Jennifer. As long as Veronica doesn't go home to get shot, just like Catherine, if those two work together, I can't even imagine what those two are capable of. But it makes me wonder, Veronica knows that if Catherine ever finds out that she was the one to put Wyatt in jail with that rapist, again, it's one of those things that's going to be drawn out, but when the time comes, it's going to be an explosion. It's going to be an explosion. Jennifer is just rolling the dice just like Candace. She's putting way too much faith in Wyatt. I don't even need to spend 30 seconds on this. Wyatt gets the money. As Jeffrey pointed out, he doesn't need to have that much money. The banker called Catherine multiple times, at least 4 times. She literally blew him off saying, I'll get back to you later. Now, Jennifer's done called the banker saying, hey, if you call the mom or prevent him from getting the money, that's like badgering a witness. You can go into jail for that. Wyatt's going to spend $3 million on a condo, X amount of money on drugs, going to buy a car. He's going to blow through that money faster than a sack of that, drugs he's buying just, smoke up. Literally, he's either going to be incapacitated from, overdose or, just something like that where he can't come to testify against his parents. So Jennifer. I mean, really, she's putting way too much faith in him. Not to mention, with Veronica out and Catherine out, they have a lot of things they can use against Jennifer in terms of not getting that phone call, moving around the cells, put them in the same area. But it makes me wonder that during the actual hearing, did Jennifer have some kind of video cameras or anything in the jail cells? Because she said the reason they were put in close proximity was so they can, just spew evidence out of their mouths. I mean, Jim and Veronica were basically spewing everything out in terms of covering up the hit and run and whatnot. So if she did record it, there's enough there to just put them all back in jail, if you want to put it that way. Now, I don't know if I should talk about this in this video, but we know that Quita is going to show up next week. Her and the boy are going to try to break into Candace's house, look for Quincy. They find the phone, and then we see Justin. That's most likely how to get arrested, and then he gets into a fight with Jeffrey. Now, I want to stop right there because, again, I feel like I should discuss that in another video. But it's good to see that we are getting some continuity here. Quita said she was coming back, and she's coming back, 2 episodes later? And poor Jeffrey, he just goes there at the wrong time. Makes you wonder where Candace is, but then again, she's going to be at the Sarandon Hotel with Landon because she called. Is going to set him up for a fall, just like she called Aaliyah to come over to her house. No telling what's going to happen to Landon, but I will make a video on that, so please look forward to that. I guess you could say if I were to pick a specific part of the episode, this part of the episode I've watched at least 12 times. Benny versus David. I was a bit disappointed that the fight scene, if you want to call it a fight, only lasted all but 7 seconds before Landon came in the room, trying to choke each other. I mean, that scene, I just loved it. What I found interesting, if you go back and rewatch the Hannah versus David scene in a verbal battle, he comes into the house looking for, suspecting that, Hannah was there, asking him about Benny. The dialogue, Crystal, Peter, that scene was just fantastic. Like, literally, I love the tension that you couldn't see, but you can just feel it by the looks on their faces from their cold dialogue exchange. That was brilliant. Similar to the scene a few episodes ago where I guess you could say it was Veronica versus Jeffrey versus David and Jim in the jail cell. That was just great. So that scene right there was well done. It really felt good to see Hannah on a more offensive side slash defense rather than, being a nagging Christian. Don't take that the wrong way. That's what a lot of fans label her as in terms of, not being a good mother and whatnot. But all that aside, this scene right here, I loved it. I mean, she was defending Benny. It reminded me of the scene where she defended Candace after, Catherine busted her upside the head with the bottle and literally held her hostage in terms of interrogation. I grew up, I was born in 91, but I grew up, my mom used to play Steve Harvey, the King's Comedy all the time. There was one scene that really caught my attention. Every time David was like, "Oh, what are you doing here, Hannah?" It's like, "You're going to be waiting for a while. I'm not leaving until I get my check." All I could think about was Willie Turner when Steve Harvey, in one of his old stand-up routines, was talking about the difference between white people and black people getting fired from a job. And Willie Turner was like, "I ain't leaving until I get my check." That's what I thought about right there. So that scene was just top-notch. And I'm pretty sure Catherine's coming back in next week's episode to the house and meets Hannah. Again, that's going to be my prediction video, which I hope to put up no later than Friday of this week. So keep your eyes open for that. So it's funny because David comes in series one to talk to Hannah about Benny. She's worried about her check. She wants to tell him nothing. Look at Benny, who wants to talk about his phones being cut by Oscar working for David, while David's trying to get information about his wife. So that scene was just hilarious. And Maggie Day, I mean, I love Allison, who plays Maggie. I think she's beautiful. She's wonderful, intelligent, smart, and whatnot. I don't really feel sorry for Maggie because of how she was acting in the first episode of the season, printing the story when Landon told her it was really a dumb idea. So I have no remorse for her whatsoever. Now, wow, I'm trying not to let this video run too long, but I really have a lot to say. So I'm going to bring this video to an end right now, but I will leave you with one thought. Given the fact that Catherine doesn't know where Veronica lives, Maggie is the only one to know where she lives, David's going to be in a rush calling Jennifer, most likely going straight to the jail to pick up Veronica. It's like, "Hey, don't let Veronica go home." That's the only logical place that I can think of him driving really fast to, because that's the only place that he would know that Veronica is at. Do you think that Maggie will contact David to let him know where Veronica lives? I mean, that's the only way I can potentially think of him figuring out where to go to stop Veronica from getting there. Because I was thinking, like, he's rushing out of there. Is he going to get shot? But I said, no, that he can't get shot if he doesn't know where Veronica lives. So with that being said, what did you think of last night's episode? Are you looking forward to next week? Do you think that the series has finally picked up some steam with some action actually going on? And in the comment section below, I really want to get your thoughts on the overall predictions. What do you think is going to happen in next week? Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends, and I will see you all in the next episode.